Have you ever wondered what your soul truly is and what hidden secrets might surround it? What if two of the most brilliant minds in spiritual psychology, Edgar Cayce and Carl Jung, discovered a shocking truth about the soul and chose to keep it quiet? In today's video, we're diving deep into the mysterious intersection of Jungian psychology and Cayce's mystic revelations. Get ready to have your mind expanded and your perception of reality altered forever. This isn't just philosophy, it's a revelation that could change your life. Let's dive into the shocking truth about the soul that Edgar Cayce and Carl Jung agreed on but kept quiet. Both Cayce and Jung hinted that the soul isn't just an abstract force, it's on a mission. Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, often spoke in trance about past lives and reincarnation. He believed that the soul travels through many lifetimes, learning spiritual lessons to evolve into a higher consciousness. Carl Jung, while cautious in his public statements, explored similar themes under the concept of the collective unconscious. He spoke of archetypes and recurring spiritual motifs that hint at the soul's continuity across lifetimes. Both men believed the soul carries a record of past traumas, choices, and wisdom, what Cayce called the Akashic records, and Jung might equate to inherited psychological memory. While mainstream religion focused on sin and salvation, these two pioneers saw life as a school for the soul, where reincarnation was not a punishment but a sacred opportunity. This view was controversial, so much so that neither man broadcasted it loudly. But when you piece together their writings, a secret agreement becomes clear. Your soul is ancient, evolving, and on a sacred journey. Jung famously developed the concept of the shadow self, the dark, repressed parts of our psyche we try to avoid. Cayce also warned that the soul must confront and transform its inner darkness to grow. Both men agreed, ignoring your inner demons delays your spiritual progress. Jung saw the integration of the shadow as necessary for individuation, the process of becoming whole. Cayce, though coming from a different angle, believed that healing and enlightenment only come when we face our inner conflicts with courage and forgiveness. Neither framed this as a battle between good and evil in the traditional sense. Instead, they viewed the shadow as a misunderstood teacher, an inner signal pointing to where we're spiritually wounded. The shocking agreement? True soul evolution requires confronting the very things we fear inside ourselves. It's not about being perfect, it's about being whole. And while many spiritual paths encourage suppression, Cayce and Jung quietly urged us to do the opposite, dive into the depths of our psyche to reclaim our spiritual truth. To Carl Jung, dreams were the language of the unconscious, the symbolic voice of the soul trying to break through the noise of the waking mind. Edgar Cayce also interpreted dreams as spiritual signals, often giving detailed readings that decoded their deeper meanings. Both believed that dreams weren't random, they were sacred. Cayce even said that every soul receives nightly guidance through dreams, whether we remember them or not. Jung went a step further to suggest that symbols in dreams often represent archetypes, universal figures like the hero, the mother, or the wise old man, that speak to our soul's journey. The overlap in their beliefs is staggering. While mainstream psychology dismissed dreams as mental junk, Cayce and Jung knew better.
The shocking truth? Your soul is talking to you every night. Are you listening? Their shared insight invites you to keep a dream journal, pay attention, and seek meaning in the symbols. Your next spiritual breakthrough might already be waiting, hidden in your sleep. Jung's idea of the collective unconscious hinted at a deep connection between all human beings. He believed we are linked by a shared psychic field where archetypes and ancient memories dwell.
Cayce described something remarkably similar, what he called the universal mind or God consciousness. Both believed the soul could tap into this vast ocean of wisdom, especially in altered states like meditation or trance. Cayce's readings described people accessing information far beyond their individual knowledge because their souls were tuning into a universal source. Jung's mystical writings suggested the same, although he often cloaked them in symbolic language. They both subtly agreed, we are not isolated beings. Our souls are drops in a cosmic ocean. This realization changes everything. It means intuition isn't imagination. It's the soul remembering its place in the greater whole. The shocking truth? You've never been alone. The soul knows the way because it's always been connected to the source. With so much overlap in their spiritual insights, why didn't Cayce and Jung share their soul beliefs more openly? The answer lies in the cultural and academic pressures of their time. Cayce risked being labeled a heretic, and Jung, already criticized for breaking away from Freud, risked losing credibility. But more than that, they understood that humanity wasn't quite ready. Their deepest teachings were reserved for seekers, those willing to look beyond dogma and explore the hidden layers of reality. Both men chose a path of subtle influence, embedding these powerful soul truths in their writings, symbols, and sessions. They planted seeds. And today, those seeds are blooming in spiritual circles, alternative psychology, and esoteric communities. Their silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. The shocking truth they agreed on? The soul is real, eternal, evolving, and more powerful than we've ever been told. Cayce frequently referenced the Akashic Records, a cosmic library containing every thought, word, and deed of every soul. Jung never used the term, but his concept of the collective unconscious resonates deeply. He believed that buried within us are ancestral memories and universal truths. Cayce said the soul remembers every past life, every decision, every triumph, and failure. Jung's idea of inherited archetypes points to a similar truth. We carry more than just personal memory. We carry soul memory. This is not metaphorical. According to both men, we can access these records through dreams, deep meditation, or altered states of consciousness. The overlap here is striking. Whether you call it the Akashic field or the collective unconscious, it's clear they both believed the soul is not amnesic, it remembers. And when you awaken to that memory, you don't just recall, you transform. Carl Jung saw mental illness not simply as a biological malfunction, but often as the soul in crisis. Cayce, too, viewed illness, mental or physical, as the soul's way of signaling imbalance. Depression, anxiety, even chronic disease could be karmic echoes or unresolved lessons from past lives. Jung talked about soul loss, where a person disconnects from their inner purpose, resulting in breakdowns. Cayce offered healing not just through medicine, but through spiritual realignment. They both knew when the soul is suppressed, it speaks through suffering. The shocking insight here is that some psychological disorders may be soul messages in disguise, cries for alignment, growth, or forgiveness. Healing, then, becomes a spiritual act, reconnecting with the purpose you were born to fulfill. Cayce clearly taught that karma isn't punishment, it's education. Jung, though more symbolic in his language, saw life challenges as opportunities for individuation and soul integration. Karma, in their eyes, isn't a system of revenge from the universe, it's more like divine homework. Cayce emphasized that each soul chooses its next life to correct past imbalances or grow spiritually. Jung's synchronicity theory, meaningful coincidences, suggests life events are orchestrated by deeper, unconscious forces guiding you toward wholeness. The shared idea? Life is not random. Your soul designed this. Even your struggles have purpose. And if you can see karma not as a curse, but as a sacred compass, everything changes. Jung introduced archetypes as universal characters and symbols embedded in the psyche. Cayce spoke of soul patterns, recurring roles and lessons each soul plays across lifetimes. Think of them as the same concept in different clothing. The hero, the seeker, the healer, these aren't just story tropes, they're soul scripts. You might live many lives embodying different archetypes to learn specific lessons. Jung said archetypes emerge in dreams and myths because they're hardwired into the soul's evolution. Cayce said your soul chooses lessons before birth, meaning your archetype isn't accidental, it's divine design. Understanding your dominant archetype could reveal your soul's current mission. Cayce emphasized free will, you're not bound by fate. Jung believed in individuation, the unique path each person must walk to become whole, but both acknowledged limitations.
Cayce said that while you have freedom, your soul sets boundaries to stay within its karmic plan. Jung noted that certain patterns, shadow impulses, inherited traits can limit conscious choice unless faced directly. The shocking agreement? You have power, but not total freedom. Your soul operates within a blueprint designed for growth. Real freedom comes not from doing anything you want, but from aligning with your soul's design and consciously choosing growth. Cayce gave vivid descriptions of what happens after death. The soul moves through spiritual realms before reincarnating or evolving. Jung, especially later in life, became fascinated with the afterlife, even describing near-death experiences in his writings. He viewed death not as annihilation, but as a continuation of consciousness. Both agreed the soul doesn't die. It transitions. Cayce described the afterlife as a space of reflection, where the soul reviews its life and prepares for the next. Jung spoke of life as a journey toward the self, implying that even after death, that journey continues. The shocking truth? You're immortal. What you do now echoes beyond this life. Jung explored symbolism in dreams, myths, and religions, believing symbols are the language of the soul. Cayce agreed, interpreting dreams and spiritual visions as direct messages. Both understood that symbols bypass logic and speak directly to your essence. The cross, the tree, the labyrinth, these aren't just images, they're soul activators. Cayce believed that meditating on symbols could awaken dormant spiritual faculties. Jung believed that recognizing your personal symbols could unlock hidden potential. Together, they reveal a path of self-discovery, not through textbooks, but through symbols your soul already recognizes. Want to awaken your soul? Learn its language.
Cayce spoke extensively on soulmates, souls who incarnate together over lifetimes to support each other's evolution. Jung, while not as literal, noted the deep psychological bonds that can't be explained by logic alone. He explored the concept of anima and animus, the inner masculine and feminine aspects of every person, often projected onto partners. The overlap? Both believed your closest relationships are not random. Cayce said some are karmic debts, others are sacred contracts. Jung saw these connections as mirrors for self-integration. Whether romantic or not, soulmates challenge, teach, and awaken us. The people you meet may be part of a plan you made before birth. For Cayce, prayer was soul-to-soul communication with the divine. Meditation was the key to hearing the still, small voice within. Jung saw prayer as a symbolic expression of inner transformation, and meditation as a way to contact the unconscious. They both agreed, stillness is powerful. In that stillness, your soul speaks. Cayce believed meditation aligned the soul with higher dimensions. Jung saw it as a gateway to the deeper self. In either case, prayer and meditation aren't rituals, they're tools to awaken your essence. When used regularly, they don't just bring peace, they bring transformation. Jung famously distinguished between the ego and the self. The ego is the conscious personality, but the self is the soul's true identity. Cayce echoed this, stating that the physical personality is a vehicle for the soul. Both warned that when the ego tries to dominate, suffering follows. The shocking truth? Your ego isn't the villain, but it must be guided. Cayce and Jung both advocated for inner balance. The goal isn't to destroy the ego, but to align it with the soul's purpose. When the ego serves the soul, life becomes meaningful, guided, and whole. Both Cayce and Jung believed that children carry powerful spiritual insight, often closer to the soul's truth than adults. Cayce gave readings on children who had vivid memories of past lives, spiritual visions, or psychic abilities. Jung observed that children sometimes displayed deep symbolic understanding and archetypal imagery in drawings or dreams. Their shared insight? Childhood is not the start of the soul, but a continuation. Cayce believed that children bring karmic momentum and unfinished business into their new life. Jung viewed early childhood as the foundation for individuation, where the soul begins expressing itself through imagination and emotion. The shocking truth? Many children aren't just learning the world, they're remembering it. If we listened more closely to what they say and intuit, we might find the soul's voice speaking loud and clear through them. Jung saw art, poetry, and music as vehicles through which the unconscious reveals itself. He painted his own mandalas and symbols, believing they expressed the soul's journey. Cayce also encouraged creative outlets, saying they activate higher centers of awareness and align the body with spiritual purpose. They both agreed, true creativity isn't ego-driven, it's soul-driven. Whether it's painting, writing, dancing, or music, your inspiration may not come from you at all, it might be coming through you. Cayce even described creative bursts as moments when the soul steps forward, bypassing logic and giving voice to divine memory. Jung noted that many breakthroughs in therapy occurred when the patient began creating. The hidden message? Your creative spark may be your soul's signature and its way of trying to heal you. Cayce described periods of deep despair, illness, or confusion as signs that the soul is demanding transformation. Jung coined the term the dark night of the soul, referring to intense psychological breakdowns that often lead to spiritual rebirth. Both believed these moments are not the end, they're a threshold. The soul is trying to break through the walls the ego built. Cayce encouraged turning inward during these moments, not seeking external distractions but inner realignment. Jung insisted that the pain of such moments should not be numbed but embraced, because that's where transformation begins. The shocking truth? Your lowest point may actually be your soul shouting the loudest. Instead of resisting it, listen. On the other side of that darkness is your true self, waiting to be born. Jung analyzed religious stories and myths from cultures across the globe, showing how they all contained similar archetypes and spiritual themes. Cayce gave readings affirming the truth within various world religions, not as dogma, but as symbolic stories of the soul's journey. They both understood that myth isn't fiction, it's coded spiritual wisdom. From the resurrection of Christ to the hero's journey of ancient gods, these stories mirror what your soul goes through lifetime after lifetime. Jung said that myths help the modern person rediscover meaning. Cayce saw them as roadmaps left behind by ancient souls. If you decode the symbols within myths and scriptures, you may find the instructions for your own evolution hidden in plain sight. At the heart of both Cayce's and Jung's teachings lies one profound agreement. The soul came here to remember itself. Jung's entire model of individuation was about uniting all aspects of the psyche to become whole. Cayce believed each life is chosen to fulfill the soul's divine potential. They both agreed that the ultimate goal isn't wealth, fame, or even comfort. It's awakening. Becoming aware of who you truly are. Not just a body, not just a personality, but a timeless soul with a divine blueprint. This doesn't come easily. It requires challenge, courage, and deep inner work. But when you walk that path, life transforms. The shocking truth? You're not here to find yourself. You're here to remember who you already are. Cayce taught that the soul chooses to incarnate on Earth for one reason: growth. The physical world, with all its chaos, beauty, and struggle, is the perfect environment for spiritual evolution. Jung, though rooted in psychology, echoed this by stating that the psyche cannot develop in isolation. It needs interaction, challenge, and reflection. Both understood that without earthly experience, the soul remains incomplete. It's through relationships, decisions, failures, and triumphs that the soul sharpens itself. Cayce even stated that hardship is often the soul's most powerful teacher. Jung knew that confronting reality, even the ugly parts, was necessary for true individuation. The shocking truth? Heaven might be peaceful, but Earth is where souls become wise. Jung coined the term synchronicity to describe meaningful coincidences that seem too precise to be chance. Cayce described similar events as moments when the soul aligns with divine timing. Both agreed these aren't random. When you think of someone and they call, when the right book falls into your hands at the perfect time, when you get a message in a dream and see it play out in real life, your soul is speaking. Jung saw synchronicities as the intersection of the inner and outer worlds, where psyche meets matter. Cayce viewed them as gentle nudges from the spirit realm. The hidden truth? Your soul is constantly trying to guide you. Are you paying attention? Cayce clearly stated that the soul is not male or female, it is genderless, incarnating in different bodies across lifetimes to balance energy and experience. Jung explored the same idea through the concept of anima and animus, representing the feminine and masculine aspects within every individual. Both believed wholeness requires balancing these energies. The shocking part? Your gender, your personality, even your name are all temporary roles. The soul wears them like costumes. Understanding this can bring healing, especially to those struggling with identity, because the soul transcends physical form. True evolution comes when we stop identifying only with the body and begin recognizing ourselves as eternal, fluid beings of light. Cayce gave thousands of readings revealing how unresolved trauma from past lives can shape current fears, desires, and phobias. Jung, though more symbolic, believed the psyche is influenced by deep unconscious forces that are often unexplainable in a single life. Both men agreed, not all your baggage is from this lifetime. A fear of water could stem from a past life drowning. An unexplainable bond or conflict with someone could be karmic. Jung called this psychic inheritance. Cayce called it karma. Either way, the path to healing is awareness. The shocking truth?